Terrific. Welcome everybody. It's me, of course, BDevine, and welcome to this pick a pile for your readings today. So, as always, I have 3 piles here. These are different, and I'll go over these piles in just a moment. I might have to turn this light on. There we go. Try not to get it to shine, but it sometimes does. It's just started snowing outside, and you would have seen that I quickly took a quick live video, and it took me a little bit to get my camera set up right now, so I'm actually not going to flip my camera around too much and show you, but we have a beautiful snow that just came out of nowhere. So today we have, this is pile number 1, Tarot Nefertari, Tarot number 1, with a cluster quartz. Okay, is this your deck? Is this going to have a message for you? Number 2, this is a dragon deck. This is one of my, all of these are some of my favorite decks here. So, and we have a red quartz ball sphere. It's not really a sphere, but hematoid quartz. And we have an emerald here on the last. This is a raw emerald. And my very first deck of tarot that were given to me back in 1990 in Queens, in New York, when I was there with my dad as a young girl. And this was where I started my tarot connection and doing readings and things. Started very soon after I got this deck. And I haven't pulled this deck out for probably, I don't know, a long time. Since I was creating my course. So that's number 3. We're also going to get a message from the Wisdom of Avalon. So I'm starting out with number 1. So number 1, thank you very much for choosing this deck. You have a cluster quartz here as your stone of the day. So this just tells me that there's many opportunities coming towards you, and that something that you've forgotten may come to light again as well. So this is good. This is a good start for you. And you have the Nefertari tarot, which have a lot of gold in it. So we're going to do a different type of a reading, and I'm going to start with a theme. So I also want to give thanks to people that have always been very, very supportive. People who are new, people who have become a member of this channel, which is very helpful. And I really hope to be able to grow a lot this year. And I also want to give a special thanks to Miss TC. If you're listening, TC, thank you so much for the gloves. These came in at a very perfect time because my hands get often quite cold in this room. I'm in the back of the house. So Miss TC is often very, very thoughtful of me, and will think of something that is very motherly and very sisterly motherly. I don't know what the word is. I don't want her to think that I think of her as my mother or something. But just that nurturing, okay? Just nurturing and thoughtful. So I'm, TC, I'm going to thank you in each of these because I don't know which card deck you're choosing, but... And to thank you to everybody, like I said, who are always very supportive and understanding and kind and considerate. There are plenty of people who won't be, right, in our life. And that's just how it is. So thank you so much. All right, there you go, number 1. The owl is working with you. Now, the owl here can bring deception or your awareness to such, and the wisdom to know exactly what to do. whenever I see the owl, there are sometimes when people tell me that the owl for them is spooky. I used to have these little owl things when I was a kid made of ceramics, and maybe you did as well. So I wasn't afraid of them, but I do know that they are connected or supposedly connected with alien stuff, right? Intergalactic stuff. I just choose not to give any power to anything that might be deemed to be negative as far as interplanetary stuff. The other side of the owl is also that there is ways in looking at things that you might not be looking at. There is things from the past, as I said with the quartz here, that need to come up or need to come out or need to be repaired. And also that you have to really, really, really trust your intuitive impulses. So the owl is often with the goddess, giving the goddess information. So you're also receiving as well. So this is very lucky for the owl. Use your inner strength and wisdom here to trust in the next part of your journey. So owl is connected with your reading. I love it. All right, here we go. All right. Number 1. Wow. All right, so what is it that number 1 needs to know right now? I'll do one here as well. Wow. Goodness me, number 1, huh? All right. The first connection that we have is the Lovers and the King of Wands. So some of you who have chosen number 1 have chosen another direction for yourself, okay? Whether you've been thinking about it for some time, or whether something has come along recently that has allowed for this change. You've made a decision recently, and this decision is going to force a connection for you, number 1, in how far you are willing to go in your life. How far are you willing to go? How much is your focus? What is your focus? Because you've decided on something that is fulfilling to you at the moment, right? And it sort of seems to me that it's going to be fulfilling for some time, okay? It just may have come at a cost. Maybe you don't even realize the cost that it's come with right now. So you've made a decision. For some of you, this is a love or romantic decision. This could be also something in partnership with business as well, because of the King of Wands being right here and also the Wheel of Fortune. So there is a connection that does bring you into alignment with a lot of prosperity. And also because the owl was your card at the beginning, it's almost telling me that because of the decisions that you've made for yourself, it is going to have a long-term circumstance for you that may not be exactly what you pictured for yourself. Now, it doesn't mean that the decision that you made is bad. What it means is that because of the decision, it will have a ripple effect on you with who is now in your circle because of those things that you've decided. Now, it's also giving me 2 aces with the Wheel of Fortune. And what this does is it awakens inside of you a very, very abundant phase of your life that is so abundant that it's going to have consequences with others, and also you're going to have to be really strong as you navigate uncharted territory. It's uncharted territory because you're not used to having this kind of abundance coming in, right? I want to say that it's not just about money in this connection here, although that's going to help. It's an abundance of confidence. It's abundance of truth and confidence here. There's a connection with focusing on alignment for you. And this is something that perhaps has been, it's not really been blocking you before. But there's been things that have been in the way of you coming into that truthful alignment with yourself. I'm just going to close my eyes for a moment. I'm going to do this for each of the cards too, is just close my eyes. What does number 1 need to know? Number 1, you need to know that by making this decision and by focusing your attention on the next phase of your life, there are going to be many things that really begin to change for you. And you cannot be afraid when that happens. You need to stay determined and focused. For some of you, you may not like the turning of events that happen when you follow and trust in your heart and your happiness, and you're focusing on new directions as well. You may not understand that people are going to feel like you've just left them behind, or that you weren't really that concerned about them in the first place. If you know that your heart is in the right place, you need to keep going anyway. But if you know that you have done something underhanded, you may initially win, but something will come back to bite. Because that's what always happens when we set out to do something that is not in alignment with the truth of who we are as a soul, and it's not in alignment with what we're portraying, it comes back to bite us. Now, I'm not saying that that's going to be for you listening, it's just a warning. The turning of events are incredible here. And the strength with the Ace of Swords also shows me that there's a healing, and someone has had some kind of operation, or something has happened rather quickly, and there's needed to be something that required healing, but that's taken care of. And also with the baboon energy here, this is very protective, and this brings you into a new opportunity, but also like another opportunity. So you've made this decision with the Lovers card. You've moved into this abundance cycle, and there's another opportunity that's coming because of it. And also there's an increase in your skills and abilities, the way in which you do things, the way in which you see things. The Queen of Swords, so in this instance here, the Queen of Swords shows me independence, and reaching new heights. And you see that her legs are awfully long to be sitting on this little throne here. There's a new direction that you got when you go in, that you're going to have to allow yourself to stand up and be seen, because this is cramping your style, right? Literally. We have to remember that in the Egyptian culture, we see a lot of vultures, right? And people are like, that's so freaky. Vultures eat only things that are dead, right? So we want them around to release any dead or negative energy. And so when we see the vulture here as well, there's the connection with being protected from negative spirits and making sure that you're doing that work as well. It's really important. As you're going on your journey, you're going to have to keep up with all of your work all of the time. It's just how it works. Otherwise, if there is a worm in your energy field, okay, when I say worm, something that's niggling like this, a worm, right? Eating away at you, eating away at your energy centers. All of a sudden, your focus will be lost and you will start spiraling downwards into negativity. And before you know it, you could be making decisions that are really stupid. And you're going to know they're stupid, and then you're going to have to fix it, get back on your horse again, get back up to where you were. When you're on this journey of spirituality, and I've decided that there's no more bullshit with me. It's like I have to tell you exactly what it is, and I don't really care about the outcome anymore. It's like, meaning I can't make people do the right thing all the time or fix themselves or anything like that, and neither can you. People are going to do what they're going to do, and it is a waste of energy and time to try to make sure that you're holding their hand till the end. So, the situation here is that if you're going to make a decision about your life, right, and you're going to move forward, and you're going to be abundant, and you're going to be strong and powerful, and you're going to start a business or start a new relationship or whatever you're going to do it, right? And everybody will be cheering you on who's truly a friend of yours. But if you do it and you're stomping all over everybody as you go, and you're not caring about their thoughts or what they're going through, or maybe they're sharing something with you or whatever it is, and you just ignore that because you're too busy on your own thing, those people may not be there when you reach your goal and your destination. And it just is what it is. Sometimes people are just moving in their own pathway anyway, and it will be out of yours. So as you go ahead in your life, just know that the spiritual realms support every single one of you on whatever decision you make, whatever you decide for yourself, how you're going about things, or whatever, right? Because your spirit guides and your angels don't tell you what to do. Oh, no. They do not. They guide your spirit. They know what you want to do in this world. They don't really care how you go about it. I mean, you could go about it the long way, or you could go the short way, right? but they're trying to help you to get to your goals. Again, they don't tell you what you're supposed to do to get there because it limits you. So therefore, if you meet the wrong person in your life, or take the wrong job, or take the wrong turn, or whatever you think you've done wrong, your angels and your guides aren't sitting there saying, well, that was wrong. They're like, that was growth. You see? That was growth. That was a shift. That was enlightening. They learned a lot from that. Off they go to the next thing now. Oh, finally they're not going to make that decision again. So for number 1, stand tall in your decisions. Walk forward with love. You can never really be doing anything wrong if you're walking forward with love and integrity. Trust that there are situations that are healing. There are things that are changing for you. The Wheel of Fortune is here saying, hey, you are going to react differently. I've had the same thing happen to me. You've probably got things happening to you in your life. You're having all of these shifts. Something's coming into alignment. We've got to be careful that we're not trampling over people to get to the top, right? We're just giving and understanding and loving, and we've got our boundaries, and we're being ourselves, and we're checking ourselves at the door, so to speak. We are always restructuring. I mean, this is just part of your growth and your journey, is to restructure, not repeat the same patterns, as best you can. Sometimes we're stubborn and we take a few goes round and then we finally get it. But communicate, declare what it is that you want. These Egyptian cards are talking to me differently. They are very, very matter of fact, because the Egyptian gods and goddesses and the lords of karma don't mess around. Okay? They're like, here's the information. Do with it what you will. Either listen or don't. Either way, we love you, right? But when you come back around again, you will be kicking your own butt for arriving at this same point if you don't take this opportunity or whatever. And you'll arrive at this same point again. You'll go, okay, what happened last time? Where was that growth? Where was that lesson, that blessing? What was I learning that time? Am I going to do it again? Do I have to really repeat all this again? Or am I just going to change my reaction, my viewpoint, the way that I respond, the way that I shift myself, my healing, what I'm saying, all of those things. Yeah, so we have a lot of powerful cards here, and a lot of support for your creative endeavors, love, work, abundance, time, people in your life as well, and good advice here too. So we have 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 2. So we have an 8. We are connected. I mean, in this card, it talks about strength being number 11, and 8 is actually justice. Makes no sense, but that's how it is. But really, the 8's in the tarot. So you think about the 8 is the strength card. I know it says 11 here. It's not normally 11. 8 is the strength card, connected to the sun, connected to your heart, connected to Leo, connected to fire, connected to cleansing, connected to healing, connected to movement, connected to children, connected to life, connected to spontaneity. It's connected with the 8 of Wands, which creates fast movement. It's connected to the 8 of Cups, which turns you away from that which is no longer needed. It's connected to the 8 of Swords, which asks you to see beyond your obstacles at the moment. There is a way out. And it's connected with the 8 of Coins, which gives you reward for your hard work. Is that your reading in a nutshell? Yeah. Okay. Make a decision. You already done it, so stick with it. Go forward fearlessly. And whether people like it or not is not the point. The point is how you've exited this whole thing. How you've done it. Have you done it gracefully? Have you been, too rushed about it? Have you been a jerk about it? Have you left people's feelings hurt? You don't want to do any of those things. So make sure that you're doing it lovely, clearly, and powerfully. And if you can do those things, then things will really begin to open up. It seems that you've already got this, so I'm just going to give a bonus message here to sum things up. Yeah, it's still encouraging you to move forward fearlessly. And it's funny because this guy's walking one way but looking into the future, but walking into the past, right? But it's the Knight of Swords, which makes things happen, which brings someone into your life to help you to make those things happen as well, and which speeds things up. There's also protection, greater protection, and having everything that you need to get the job done, okay? Number one, I'm going to try my best to show you what's out the window. Can you see snow coming down? You might be able to. Okay. All right. Here we go. So thank you, number one. I really hope that that was helpful. Okay. Number two, hematoid quartz. And this is very grounding and connecting here. You can see the red through it, perhaps. Maybe you can. I have another type here. Look at that. See the big old rainbow in it? Very grounding and connecting. Very connected with things that are important and having the courage to do those things as well. So there's that. I've burnt my thumb really badly. I don't know if you can see it, but it's like, ugh. All I did was this. Say that one was lit, and I went like that and brought it towards me and burnt the crap out of my fingers. So it's healed in 3 days. You wouldn't have believed it yesterday. All right. We're using the Dragon Tarot. Oh my God, sorry. I got that incense right up my nose. All right. So we got the Dragon Tarot. Now I had to go into my other, into another room where I had things stashed and put away. And I was like, oh my God, my old cards and my tarot dragons are in there. So we're using them today, and I'll tell you a story about them in a minute. But first, we're getting a Wisdom of Avalon card for us all. And because I said I was going to do it, these little gloves that I have on, thank you to my friend TC, who is very, very, very thoughtful person. And she literally thinks of things that I might be thinking. And all of a sudden, I find it in my little post office box. So I just want to thank TC, and I'm going to thank her through each of the numbers, because even though I know which number she's going to choose most likely, I still think she's probably going to watch them all. So thank you, TC, for being so thoughtful. Oh my God. No, we don't want that card. Okay. Number 2. And for everyone who's thoughtful, kind, and loving in this day and age, when everybody's out to step on everybody's shoulders, it's so nice to have a community that we've created here that is loving and kind and supportive. So thank you very much. All right, number 2's trust. So you're connecting with trust. The other card that was sitting there before was forgiveness. So this is the pathway. It's a windy road. You're going to have to trust because you do not know everything. That's so frustrating. I've spoken to the angels about that, my spiritual light team, and said, well, I want to know what's going on as well. And they're like, Becky, you cannot know everything. I'm like, why not? Because we limit ourselves when we know everything. If we have faith that what's ahead is going to be perfect for us, then we don't have anything to worry about. You lose your anxiety. But when you're like, oh my God, it's going to be da 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 da, all of a sudden you're building up this energy, anxiety, and stress inside of yourself that you just don't need. And it makes it worse and worse and worse. So we're trusting that the pathway that we're choosing is the correct one for us right now. It has a lot of healing in it. It has a lot of potentials. It could be anything that you want. Clear the pathway ahead. Ask for your angels to walk ahead of you and bless the ground that you're walking on. How beautiful is that? And making it an easy pathway. I mean, people can be as negative as they want, right? It doesn't matter. Like, I could lead people and tell them exactly what they need to do to have an abundant, carefree, healed, happy, youthful life. And they can still say, nah, too hard. And live a miserable one. I don't know. But we have to trust anyway. We have to trust that what we're doing in our life at the moment is the right thing for us. Whether it's the right thing for somebody else, who cares? Right? But it's the right thing for us. And if you can do that, you will always succeed. You have no choice but to succeed. Now, the story with these dragon cards. A long, long time ago, I went to a tarot reader in Sydney. Yeah, me. Stupid, right? I was going through a lot at the time. I mean, the most tremendous amount of stress. My youngest son was with his dad. There were psychologists involved. There was court cases going on. My court cases went on for 13 years over my youngest son, which I continually fought for and eventually won. But by the time I won, I couldn't do that to my son. I couldn't have him leave his home that he'd been in, whether I liked it or not. So I went to this tarot reader at the time, and I went to Sydney, and she pulled out these cards. And I was fascinated because I knew my tarot cards and I knew what the meanings were, and she was coming out with all kinds of other things. So these particular cards mean a lot in a sense that you're going to get a message today that, I mean, I always do this anyway, but you're going to get a message today that you may not expect, but it's going to be accurate. I can tell you that right now. With the dragon cards, again, just like the Egyptian cards, pulling no punches. They are going to tell you how it is. They're going to tell you what is coming in, okay? What is needed. And they're going to show me things psychically that I need to tell you. Wow. Now, this is not really a particular spread. This is just what I feel like I need to do for you. Number 2. Trust is your key word. Oh, wow. Really trying to make it so we don't have the glare on the cards. There we go. Alrighty, righty-ho, everybody. Here we go. Okay. So the Star comes out as your first card. And I get the word like collaboration and focus here. I mean, trust was your card, right? Trust came out as your card, as your main sort of theme here. You have the Strength, the Ten of Cups, the World, the Five of Wands, the Page of Wands, the Nine of Cups, and the Queen of Wands. You're going to get what you want. I can guarantee you that you are going to get what you want. Now, someone or a connection or a group is helping you to do that. And maybe your energy is focused on connecting with a bunch of like-minded people, or opening up your awareness to even more opportunity for yourself. The time has come for this new beginning. Everything that you've been planning, everything that you've been working towards, everything that you've been trying and doing and having patience with is going to be rewarded. The focus here is on things happening very, very quickly, and at the same time that you will really need to rely on your intuition. You're going to have to trust. The truth about a situation that was bothering you for some time is also going to come to the surface. And what we have is, in this card especially, I'm getting the orange, I want to show you this, the orange dragon here. In the Strength card, and there's these little dragonlings around this apprentice here. And what's happening is the dragon is like just got this little bit of smoke coming out. There's something that is not showing you its full potential yet. There is so much magical power surrounding you right now. Elemental energy, angels, guides, dragons, loved ones, whatever it is. There is so much power around you at the moment that it doesn't really matter what you set your mind to, as long as you set your mind to something. I also get that you really don't understand yet what you're literally capable of. And I say that, right? And I know that there are some people who get a really big head in the spiritual realms and in the spiritual communities. There are very egotistical people, and they don't even see their ego. How do I explain it? Because if you have to boast that you're the best all the time, some people boast like constantly. I mean, I don't care. Sometimes you're going to toot your own horn. I do it every now and then, right? But I mean, people who constantly have to tell you that they're the best all of the time are trying to believe that themselves. They really are. They don't believe it. They're just hoping that you do. Okay? Because when you truly know what you're doing, there's quiet confidence. And it's true. When you know what you're doing, you don't have to tell everybody. So you have a lot of abilities, right? But because you're still trying to figure them out, or you don't like anyone to know, or maybe you don't want to be labeled, or maybe you have labeled yourself, whatever it is, you're still dissing yourself in some way. And you're not doing it to be, you're not being like so hard on yourself, but if you're like me, you don't want to appear to be a boastful person, so you're not going to talk much about what you can do, right? And this just means that what can take place for you is that you will not say anything about other things in your life, and in fact you go quiet about how you're feeling and what you're thinking and how something might have hurt you or bothered you or upset you, and so you just don't say anything because it's showing some kind of less than good enough or weakness to you. Like it's showing it to you, but you don't want other people to think that way about you. So you're going through this cycle. It's kind of the energy I'm feeling of, you're going through this unusual cycle in your life of wanting to have all of this stuff open for you, but at the same time not wanting other people to be a jerk towards you about it, and at the same time not wanting to express who you really are because you don't want people to think you're a weirdo, and at the same time not wanting to suppress your abilities because you really want to have those. At the same time, when you do get a hit on something, then you don't trust whether it's real or not, so you start thinking about it for ages and then nothing ever happens. So at the same time, you want to do healing, and you want to do cards, and you want to do talking, and you want to do writing, and you want to do drawing, and you're feeling like you might need to just choose one. Wrong. Do it all. But what's happening is that because you do not fully trust in yourself, and you have these high expectations of yourself, and you are fearing what other people are judging you for, and you are, afraid that others are going to see failure, right? Or that you're not going to succeed in what you're doing because you might not be as good as A, B, C, D, E, F, G personality or whatever, right? What's happening is that you're suppressing inside of yourself joy of expression, regardless of what any rinky-dink thinks. Like, who really cares? Everyone is too focused upon themselves to really care what you do, right? And that's sad, but unfortunately at the moment, that's pretty true, right? If you do not embrace your own inner power and your truth and your focus and your direction and your goals and your dreams and your wishes and your healing power and your, potentials, if you don't embrace them, time's going to tick on, and then you're going to get to a certain age and go, well, I'm too old to do that now. It's all over. Might as well just go back to work, or, hate myself because I didn't do what I said I was going to do 20 years ago and I'm still here. Having faith to do what you really love and to trust that process is difficult, but it's worthwhile. You feel good about yourself. You feel stronger in yourself. The connection that I'm getting here for you is that there are opportunities that are coming for you to showcase your skills in one way or another, to bring you into ultimate happiness. The Queen of Wands has all of her shit together. She knows what she's doing, and she does it well, right? She doesn't get the limelight, and she doesn't get the focus that some other people will get, but she's always there. It's continuous, right? She keeps on going, keeps on going, keeps on going. And I know that she's humble because I'm a Queen of Wands as well, right? So there are some Leos that are extravagant. I'm at the end of being a Leo. It's not the extravagance for me. It's the message for me. Right? It's the trust for me. It's being able to speak for me. And being able to share my art, music, my loves, my joys, things that are annoying as well, and how I get over them. Right? So I know that you as a soul, whether you're a male or female, whatever you call yourself, whatever you want to call, whatever you want to be, I don't care, that I know that you have untapped abilities. Because even 30 some years later for me, I am still tapping into new abilities and things I didn't realize I could do so well. Just how it is, right? But if you continually diss yourself and go, well, that's just not good enough. It's not good enough for who? If I had done that, you guys would never have found me. If I'd sat there complaining and, always worrying whether I'm doing something wrong all the time, you'd never get started. Never get started. So, you have stumbled upon a beautiful time with the 9 and the 10 of Cups here, the strength in the world here, the star here. It's all happening. The Queen of Wands, everything is happening. The 5 of Wands shows the conflictions that you have within yourself. But you're not really going to stay there, because this orange, this connection with the navel, the emotion is with you. The moon, the connection with all that is pushing you forward. Like, whether you're ready or not, you're going to be moving into this new cycle. So you might as well enjoy the process as you go along, understanding that you are armed completely with all the knowledge in the world that you need. All the information, all the support. You see these looming dragons that are in the cards, just looming in the distance, right? This big one here, big blue one, asking you to, for once and for all, just let loose about who you really are. I can tell you right now, we live in a Mennonite community where Mennonite shops pop up everywhere, right? And I can tell you that it was a worry to me at first, because when I was young, my dad left me to live with Mennonites and Hutterites and Amish for like 6 months, may have even been longer than that. And I didn't even know if he was coming back, and I'm living with these strange people. As a teenage girl, that was not ideal, okay? So I wasn't sure that living in this Mennonite community, I was even going to be able to cope. So I thought, I'm just going to be myself. Everybody's different, right? And I am telling you that there is a lady at one of the Mennonite stores where I live. And every time I go in there, I make a point of saying hi to her. I don't even know her name. I'm imagining what her name is right now, but I don't really know for sure what it is. It seems like people don't, I could ask her, but we end up just talking, right? So, and she sees my light. I know she does. And I see hers, even though in ordinary circumstances, there's no way that she's going to talk to the heathens, right? But if we're coming in there to buy food, she's going to talk to us. But it's a beautiful thing that someone recognizes without judgment your inner light. That source is working with you, whether you're in agreement with someone else or not, whether you believe in the Bible or not, that someone is focusing their energy upon your light. So if you're worried about people's reactions to you, then I can tell you, do you judge people? Do you look at people and think, oh my God? Because if you do that, then that's why you expect other people to do it to you. If you're not doing it, if you just accept people for who they are, you might not like it. It's not your cup of tea. We're not going to Mennonite church with all the friends. But if you don't judge that or care, then you won't receive that hardly at all towards you. And if you do, it's their problem. It makes a difference. Same with being rich. If you see rich people as lucky, you know what's, and you want money, then you're going to think that when you have money, people are going to think you're a you know what. So you got to change your connection with money if you want it. Okay, hang on, I'll give you a sum up here. What the heck? The music just changed. All right, hang on.
I wanted to move, forward. I wanted to go back to school because
Ay,
I wanted
ay.
to be able to.
Okay, so the Ten of Swords finishes off that old cycle, right? I mean, that's horrible. And we look at the injury of the poor old dragon and, the devastation. But in the background, you can see the other dragons, right? You can see this connection with the henges. You can see the connection with the ancients. There's nothing that this person can do about the ending that's just occurred. There's nothing that you can do about something that's already finished. You just got to begin again, okay? And understand that 10 is actually 1. And it's time for everybody focused on themselves and on what they really truly want to do, and not be held back by what others want them to do, feel, or sense. That as we trust our pathway, we are always guided and supported and loved for it. And whether people shift with you as you move forward, or whether people stay behind, or whether people are going to scoff at you or call you names or call you whatever they want to call you, it's your energy towards that needs to change, because people are going to do what they're going to do anyway. You could be the Queen of Sheba and someone's like, well, you're a little bit too pretty. You could be a big fat juicy orange, as I said, and someone's like, well, I don't really like oranges. I don't like that. I don't like fruit. Okay. Right? So it's all about perspective and whether you care about someone else's perspective or not. And it's not so much care, it's more letting it affect you, right? Letting it affect you. Do you let things affect you? How has that been working out for you? How many things have you stopped doing because of somebody else? Oh, you know what I mean? So, all right, let's do this. 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60. I don't know if I want to count that. 69, 74, 7 and 4 is 11. And 11 is justice. Okay? Justice. Trust that your alignment, that your purpose, that your pathway, that your abilities, that your connection is correct. Watch who is with you and who isn't with you. Accommodate those that are very, very supportive of you, whether you're living on the street or living in a penthouse, right? So it's time for people to really start to do what they want to do anyway, regardless of what anyone's going to feel in that process. And if you can do that, the healing is definitely flowing through. The wishes are coming true. The old is ending. The new is beginning. And the support increases and increases. The more closer you are to your true pathway, the more support emerges. The more that you resist, okay, you won't see changes happening. The more that you doubt, you won't see changes. The more that you sit there and focus on what's not happening for you, the more that will continue. So it is really that simple. People say, well, I'm just waiting for it to happen. And, one day, okay. Whatever you think, whatever you say is actually right. So work it for yourself. A lot of beautiful abundance is here for you, and healing here, and an opening up of this power if you want it. And it's really time. Okay. Thanks, number 2. All right. Okay, interesting. Cards, number 3. And an emerald, a raw emerald. This does bring a lot of healing as well as a connection into our past, and seeing ourselves in a whole new light as well. Because it doesn't look much when you see a raw emerald. It doesn't look as beautiful as those shiny big old green emeralds, but it really does connect us with a lot of different properties and things. And it's extremely grounding. It is also a really good dragon stone. So, but it didn't want to come out with the dragons cards today, so it's come out with the Mythic Tarot. So, my very first deck of cards, that's why, I mean, these are old. The person that gave them to me in like it was the end of 1989, beginning of 1990. And they had already had them for like 5 years or something before that. So they have been with me to 3 different countries. Actually more than that, 4 different countries. A number of times. So they have done thousands of readings and they are here for you today. So they are pretty beaten up, but I'm going to use them. All right, hang on. Okay. Yes, I still have my house coat on. So, as I've been saying in the other videos, just in case TC is watching. Hi, TC. It's me. Thank you so much for my little gloves. My little hands do get cold in this back room. So, well, they're not really little hands, are they? I'm like a lumberjack over here. I'd rather be strong, though. I see these girls with these little tiny hands, and I'm like, oh, isn't that sweet? But I'm like, you know what? My hands held my babies and I've done a lot of hard work. So I'm glad to be strong. But anyway, TC, thank you for always being thoughtful and always, you know, I find something in my little post office box or whatever, and it's just a thoughtful thing from you. And I just really appreciate you, and I want you to know that. So, and as I said, I appreciate all of you for being here and being on a journey of awakening, because that's what we're all on at the moment. And we have to shift and turn with the tides, don't we? Okay. I better start with these. I can hear all this noise. I'm hearing all this thumping around. Okay. Pay attention, Becky. I am. Ooh, number 3. Here comes the burden. And this is not a bad thing. How many people go, oh God, yes, I would choose number 3 and there's going to be a burden. No, this is about what you're carrying as a burden right now. What are you seeing in your life as something that's extremely difficult, right? There is things that we can change, and there's things that we really wish would change, and we can't make them change. So this is asking you to ask yourself, what is it that you really can do in certain situations, right? And if you can't do anything about something, as much as you want to, lift the burden away from yourself. Use the angels and your guides and your loved ones and source to pour light on that person's situation, problem, issue, whatever it is. Pour light all the way over it. And disconnect a little bit. and let spirit do the work. And remember that everybody's on their journey. If it's a situation that you really wish would change and it's bothering you, it's a burden. Anything that's bothering you or taking up space in your brain for free is a burden that you don't need. And it's eventually going to catch up with you. Right? So you're being asked to look at things as whether it's worth your time or not. And if it's not, ask your angelic helpers and your loved ones and your guides to take care of it for you. All right, cards. Haven't pulled you out in a while. And again, as I'm always telling you, you can learn a lot from doing the courses with me, especially the tarot course, which is half price. It's still half price, and you can get started in your own time. And then we have a Telegram group, and all of us, including me, are there, and we give readings for each other and support for each other, which is fun. And I'm still able to be there too. So, and you can ask questions and have support, right, as you go forward. Okay, here we go. Number 3. This star has come up for everybody's reading. We're on it. If the strength card comes up, we're really on it. Okay, number 3. Ooh. Sun keeps coming up too. Okay, so Nine of Swords has been up too. Okay. It's an interesting stories with the Mythic Tarot, and I use these to teach my course, as well as 2 other decks. It's an interesting thing. The one thing that the Mythic Tarot and this, what it really taught me to do was to really trust my feelings. And I mean, I was a young person seeing all of these kinds of images, like, and going, oh my God, like seeing something like that, like, oh, no wonder they don't want you to look at these cards. Because it looks spooky, right? There's a lesson in it, I'm telling you. So we have Zeus and we have Apollo here. And we're seeing Apollo in a couple of different cards here, which tells me that you need to focus on your strengths. Because that's who Apollo will, bring messages. Apparently the Oracle of Delphi were talking to Apollo. Apollo is very connected to the sun, and connected with music, as you can see it, and grounded as well. It is, right now, there is an opportunity for you to walk away from a situation that is no longer serving your energy. And I feel like in this vibration, the 7 of Swords here, going into the 8 of Swords. So you see the energy of the Greek, hero in a sense, Orestes, right here. And you see him here, but he's cloaked and covered up. So in the 7 of Swords, in this particular story, he knows something. He knows something bad has happened, and he knows that he's trying to get away with concealing something as well. And it's in his mind, right? So the vibration here is you are trying to masquerade something that you know is going on within you, and you're pretending that everything is okay. And you've done it for so long now that you don't see how this entraps you every single time. For example, for me, unfortunately in this work, I can give some really good advice, right? And I feel things, I sense things, I see things. It's just how I am. If someone asks me something, I'm going to be honest. Whether they want to hear that or not, I just got to be honest, because there were so many situations in my life where someone bullshitted to me and told me something and I made a big mistake, you see? So I always have that energy behind it where someone's like, oh no, that's fine. Oh, just go and do that stupid thing over there and you'll be fine. Do what you want. Put yourself first. That's not putting yourself first. That's being stupid. Let's face it. So this is that kind of sensation where you know that there's something not right, or that you know that there's something that you need to say, or you know that there's something fishy, or you know what advice you're supposed to be giving someone, or you know that you need to be strong, or you know that you shouldn't be holding in your emotions, and you know that you should be doing your declarations and connecting, but you're not. So, well, you're not wholeheartedly, I guess is what I should say here. And this shows me that there's mental anguish because of it. The King of Swords, or Zeus, is very balanced and poised, as you can see here. So you're afraid that someone is going to know. It's like you're afraid that they're going to know who you are, or what you've done, or where you've come from, and they're prejudging you. Because that's what Orestes was feeling. He had seen something horrendous. He had gone through this time of like being in exile. He had just been fighting about it. He had been upset about it. He had been lost about it. He was in his grief. He was in his own focus, and he was being selfish, and then he wasn't being selfish, and he was just like all over the place, basically, this guy. I mean, look at him, right? He does not want to know about people's, real thoughts. And yet he's asking for that advice. Right? You see what I mean? And the problem is that the Moirai sit here and Apollo's here like, what are you doing? Like, why are you stressing yourself out? And why are you asking for help but you're not taking the advice? And then what happens is that we find ourselves in a crap position, and then we wonder where the hell our guidance was. And it was right there the whole time. So for number 3, you have things that are shifting away from you. One of them is running away from situations and instead facing them, or holding in things when you need to really say things, or asking for advice but not really taking it. It's like, what do you want here? There needs to be a clear answer or thought from you to the divine, because it's causing you this. Remember, we had this from the start. It's causing you a burden to not say. And it doesn't mean you gotta, all right, I'm gonna just go and call someone right now and give them a piece of my mind. How's that helping anything? Right? Some people are like, I'm just gonna go tell them exactly how it is. That won't do anything. To me, silence is everything. So if if I'm not talking to my friends or something, that should tell them, hang on a minute, you've done something here. You better figure out what it is, right? I don't feel like I have to say, well, you did this and you did that, right? I don't care, because I put myself in that position in the first place. So as you're walking forward, okay, try your best not to be in a place where you're feeling like you have to hide things. Because once you feel like you have to hide things, or you're stuffing your emotions down, or you're squashing things, you're going to get like this. You're going to feel like you're trapped, and you're not. You've just done it to yourself. The message here is that there's beautiful good news coming, okay? An increase in your skills and abilities, travel and support, and things just changing, right? And the reason why things are changing is because you've decided not to carry around so much emotional baggage and carry around things or secrets for other people. You're freeing yourself, just like the nymph does here, and she opens up Pandora's box, and sure, it brings out a whole lot of sprites and nastiness, but otherwise the angel wouldn't come out as well. See? So if you're holding in all of your stuff to yourself, you are not allowing a beautiful, pure, abundant blessing to happen. And you're not allowing yourself to rid yourself of burdens and worries and guilt and shame that will stay within you. And those very negative emotions are the very things that cause the body to go into death mode. And, if it's accumulated for long enough, it's what we end up seeing. So release those things and do it to yourself, or do it to your light team, or put it into your declarations, or whatever. Like, I am showing up authentically. I'm no longer hiding these things. I had to have a recent talk with my son, and he never knew why we moved so much as a kid. He just thought I was making these decisions and pulling him out of schools and this, that, and the other because I felt like it. I don't know why he wasn't reading between lines, but he was a kid. So I realized that I hadn't expressed to my children properly all of the things that I was keeping. I was keeping these things from them to keep them safe, or whatever I was doing, and it was having a backfire effect. And it was creating tension when it didn't really need to be any. And I stood there and I just blurted it all out on like New Year's Day. I'm like, oh, and this happened, and that, okay, and this is why, and all this energy was sitting in my chest. It was so uncomfortable, and I'm like, I'm spitting this out as fast as I can to my son, because he may interrupt me, or there may be a problem with what I'm saying, or I don't know. I just felt like I had to get it out as fast, like Speedy Gonzales, right? And so I was pacing up and down in the kitchen, and I'm like, and we did this, and we had to go here. And he was like, yeah, well, you told me some of this when I turned 18. But some of this I did not know, and I really appreciate you telling me. And I looked him right in the eyes and said, you know what? I really appreciate you listening to me. Because any other time he just would have gone, not listening. And, turned it off, right? But he listened. And I was able to get that out. And it was a relief. Oh my God. A big, massive relief. I didn't realize I had so much energy trapped in my chest. I had no idea until it was gone, right? So, you have responsibilities. You have abilities. I'm always telling everybody that. You have a way out of everything. You have a couple of different ways, actually, in which you could go. And the biggest trick here is that you're not pretending that you're okay when you're not, or pretending something is okay when it isn't. That you're being honest with yourself and others as you move forward. And that you realize that not everybody is going to agree, understand, or like what you're doing. But with that comes a million more who do. And as you let the sprites out, remember that you're also letting the beautiful, golden, abundant angels out that wouldn't have a chance to shine if you hadn't have opened that box. They wouldn't have a chance to help you if you haven't let them out of your chest, right? Or off your chest. And see the beauty of things to come. There is a lot of strength within you, as we can see with the King of Swords. And there's an ability for you to be able to succumb anything and get past it. It doesn't mean that you have to make your life hard in order to prove your worth. Okay? It's time for a different outlook and a different perspective here. I'm going to get an overall. I'm actually getting a little bit of a headache doing number 3. So I'm really feeling that there's a lot of pent-up stress here, and that you've probably blocked off your third eye and crown, which is giving you migraines. You're not trusting in the divine because you have been let down so many times before by the earthly people. By earthly people. You got to remember that the divine is not of this earth and is in the completeness of the self. And right now we're just in the one aspect of ourself. Imagine being completely whole. Well, the divine is, so therefore it's nothing like an earthly person. It's not even a person, it's an energy. And with that energy, it's unconditional love. Doesn't matter who you are, what you think you've done, you're loved, right? Forgiveness is key though. You need to forgive yourself. And a final message. Forgiveness is key, and the wisdom comes from this. The wisdom will come from you taking that step back and allowing of yourself. There's also see, this is a disguise. He's got his lantern and he's got his crow. I believe this is supposed to be Zeus in disguise as Hermes, Lord of the underworld here. So, as you pull back and as you allow for yourself, and be honest with yourself and all of these things. You see, this has got the mountains and the cold, right? The pulling back. Then what you find yourself in is much more of a balance here. Much more strength and much more in alignment with all that you are and all that you can do. And the energy of... See, when I see the Hermit, right, I know if it's coming up for me, I'm about to embark on some kind of big epiphany in my life. And it doesn't mean that the epiphany has to come from disaster either, right? Although we think, okay, we learn a lesson after all this goes wrong. It's not always that way. And you know what? You can set it up to be an easy lesson, right, as well. Unburden yourself. Speak with yourself softly and with compassion. Take time for yourself away from anyone else in your household and clear yourself with sage and declarations and say, I am just willing to release that which no longer serves me, that which is holding me back, that which is placing me in denial, that which is blocking me from all my dreams, goals, and wishes. And I'm letting it go once and for all. I'm opening up Pandora's box. This is going to bring me healing. It's going to be strength. It's going to lessen the confusion. It's going to break me out of my own prison cell. It's going to give me more spirituality. I'm going to receive messages from the divine. It's going to keep on coming in with positivity and as fast as anything as well. You see? So, $77, which adds up to 14, which adds up to temperance, which adds up to balance. As we look at your card decks, right? So the temperance card of balance and the angels and, you know, the water and the connection and all of this, right? So let's see. So if you're carrying something for someone, don't do this anymore. If you're upset with someone's behavior, sometimes silence is golden, right? The temperance there with the angel Iris, goddess Iris, but it's an angel in this sense of balance and miracles occurring. The flowers are irises down here. So you're connected with nature, you're connected with earth energy as well, and you're connected with miracles coming in. All because you took that time for you, because if you don't take that time for you, nobody else will. It's like people are just cutthroat these days. So we have to look after ourselves in order to lead by example, to be a strong example of how to get through anything. Because I can tell you right now that a lot of times people won't show you how to grow. They're only going to show you all the things that are wrong with you. They don't show you how to get out of it. And even, the reason I stopped studying psychology is because the end analysis of the whole thing is that you are not actually able to give answers. You have to allow your clients to come to their own conclusions, and that's just a waste of time. When you've got the answer right there and can help them to move forward, it's like, why prolong this person's agony? And that's why, one of the reasons why I stopped studying in that way. Even though different types of psychology and even like cold cases and forensic psychology and things like that are really interesting. The way in which you're taught is not probably what most people would want to do. So the energy here is for you to balance out by being completely honest with yourself. Reserve judgments on others, or screaming at others, or having a go at them, or I'm going to tell them and I really need to shake them out of whatever funk that they're in. That's not saving anything or anyone, and it's not going to make you feel better either. You have big things to do, and you have a beautiful opportunity for those things to come and start happening really quickly here. You want to be ready for it when it does. You need to know that as you're going through this journey, there is no ending point. There's no, okay, I've got it all now, I'm right. Because there's still going to be crap that comes up. There really is. There's going to be crap that comes up in your life. And you're going to have to know how to navigate each twist and turn and have the answer ready to go. Rather than always looking outside of yourself for an answer to guide you home. You are your own compass. Listen to your inner drum and move forward fearlessly. You know what to do. It's the same advice you would give somebody else. Hello? Give it to you with compassion. So if you've listened this far, I appreciate you. There's some products that are tagged in this video, but you also know where my website is. And I will see you all real soon. I hope you enjoyed this week's Pick a Pile. Sending love, and bye for now.